If you are struggling with anything hair, skin, and nails, I have the solution for you. If you've never heard of WellBell, you have to go check out my Instagram highlight titled WellBell to see the most insane hair growth and glow up of all time. Not to toot my own horn, but it's pretty wild. So if you're ready to start your glow up journey or are experiencing any hair loss, you've got to try out WellBell. All you have to do is go to wellbell.com. That's WELLBEL.com and use code Veronica10 at checkout. That's code Veronica10, VERONICA10 at checkout for all things WellBell. Hello, and welcome back to Martinis and Bikinis. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and today we have a truly inspiring guest joining us. Her name is Carly Weinstein. Carly is not just an influencer, she is a powerful voice in the world of mental health, a passionate podcast host for her podcast, Real with Carly Weinstein, and she's a sought-after public speaker. We could have kept talking for probably 3 more hours, so we had a lot of fun recording this episode. We're going to dive deep into Carly's journey through eating disorders and mental health diagnoses. We're going to explore the pervasive impact of generational diet culture on our lives today. We'll talk about the transformative power of meditation and movement and how to navigate identity crises as we step into new chapters of life. But that's not all. Carly shares invaluable tips for aspiring creators looking to build a supportive community and maintain longevity in the space. We'll also touch on the complexities of dating as a creator, entering new relationships, and the importance of cultivating strong friend groups. Whether you're a fellow creator, someone navigating the ups and downs of mental health, or simply looking for community building tips, there's something in this episode for everyone. So, without further ado, my little teenies, please welcome Carly Weinstein to Martinis and Bikinis. Hello, and welcome to Martinis and Bikinis, the podcast for everything under the sun. I am your hostess, Veronica Droulia, and I am here to help you navigate your 20s through all things lifestyle, beauty, and fashion. So, if you're ready, let's dive into today's episode. Hi, Carly.
Hi.
Welcome to Martinis and Bikinis.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We have an Olipop here in our martini glass today.
My favorite.
I have the ginger ale and you have the cherry cola.
Yes.
So we're going to cheers.
Amazing.
And christen you to the show.
I was just telling you, this is like my daily pick-me-up. Like every afternoon, cheers.
Cheers. It's so good.
The
I haven't
Olipop,
had this flavor, but
I think I need to deal with them. I promote them a lot.
Oh my gosh, you should. You should.
Every single day I need one to survive.
It actually tastes like a ginger ale.
Yeah, it literally, like, you have to try the grape one. And I think there's an orange one too that they make also, and they literally taste like Fanta. It's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That really tastes like a ginger ale.
I know.
And
they kill it.
I love having a ginger ale on a plane.
I know. Oh my God, it hits.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring that with me next time.
I buy these in the airport. People think it's so weird. I'll buy them in the airport because they like sell them in like the stores, and then I'll bring them on the plane and ask for a cup of ice on the plane and pour it and like have my little fizzy drink.
Wait, that's genius.
Yeah, and everyone's like, did they give that to you on the plane? I'm like, no, you got to bring it in advance.
You're like, I ordered it in advance. They brought it to me personally.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I'm so excited to have you here because I've been talking to so many people just around the city and people in the content creation space, and everybody was like, you have to get Carly on.
Oh my God.
And Bailey Taylor specifically, she was just on the show and she said that you are a gem and that you have to come on the show.
Stop. That's so nice.
I'm happy to have you here and just make it come into fruition. But I usually like to start these off with the roots. And this is just an opportunity for you to tell us more about you, where you're from, maybe things people don't know about you, just anything you're willing to share.
So I was born in Maryland originally. I was just telling you before, which I feel like most people don't realize, but my whole family is from Maryland. So I feel like I have a lot of roots there actually. And I'm going back literally like next week.
Oh my gosh.
It's like a special place to me. Like everyone, like you go home and like I'm from Jersey originally. Like I grew up there, but Maryland to me, like when I go back there, it feels like home still.
Where in Jersey?
I'm from, it's like Morris County area, like northern Jersey.
Yeah.
So that also is my home, but Maryland, like since my grandparents and cousins and everyone is from there, that's really, and like I was born there, that's like my home base.
Yeah.
And I just spent my summer at the beach there in Bethany Beach, Delaware. So yeah, that's like, I feel like it made me who I am today, kind of weirdly. Like I feel like when you're from somewhere like that, it makes you more grounded, more down to earth. Like kind of a small town that like everyone knows each other. I feel like it just like, that's what, I don't know, made me like who I am. So I'm a very proud Maryland-born girly. But I grew up in New Jersey. I grew up as a competitive gymnast.
Wow.
Been doing competitive gymnastics since I was in 2nd grade. Did it all through high school, was on my varsity team in high school. A lot of what I talk about online is like, I struggled with disordered eating and mental health issues, like anxiety mostly, and like OCD throughout like my whole childhood and like early adulthood and now still. But I'm like, we all still struggle. But no, like I feel like that was like another thing like that really made me who I was, going through like being a competitive gymnast and then also dealing with everything that like came with the disordered eating and growing up in a family that was very like conscious about food and about your body image. I feel like those were all things that I just like struggled with growing up. But when I was in high school, I tore my ACL in my state sectional championship. I like couldn't do anything anymore. Like gymnastics was all I ever knew my entire life. And so I kind of had this weird like identity crisis, even though I was so young and everyone's probably like, are you crazy? Like you have so much to live. But it just caused me to really sit back and be like, okay, gymnastics is not, I can't focus on this anymore. I need something else to like put my heart and soul into. And so I started a blog because that was like the fashion girlies in New York were posting on Instagram, like Song of Style and We Were What and Something Navy. Like those are all the girls that I like would look up to. And so I created a blog. I just kind of like learned how to like do random like website styling and stuff. And I used like templates. And even though like I got made fun of in high school because people are like, what are you doing? It like really helped me develop this passion for like having a voice for myself, speaking about issues that I was going through when it came to like my body image, my mental health, but then also talking about what it's like going into the city and having like these big aspirations of being in maybe the fashion industry or just like, at the time, I didn't even know that that would become an influencer, but that's what it became. So I did that all through college while studying media advertising in Indiana. And then when I graduated, I had my own company and I was doing like social media management for other people, which turned into me posting on TikTok for myself. And then now here we are. So I've known what I wanted to do for a long time. And it's weird how it kind of all just like meshed together into one thing that now is my career. So that was long-winded, but that's like a short of my backstory.
I feel like we've been living parallel lives.
Really?
I also tore my ACL.
No way. Oh my God, I have the same exact scar as you.
Is it your right leg?
It's my right leg.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, mine's my left leg.
Oh my God. I have the same how'd you tear yours?
Volleyball.
That'll do it. The pivoting and stuff.
Yeah. I was jumping up and then landed really weird, but it was so sad because my friend was playing the game before and she had her brace on.
Oh my God.
And I looked at my friend in the stands and I said, it was this tournament. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I don't have to wear that.
You jinxed yourself.
Karma.
Oh my God.
Karma.
How old are you?
I was 17.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
I know.
But it's like a weird, like, it was like a weird blessing. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's kind of tough going through an injury like that.
Yeah. It messes with your mental health a lot.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Just not being able to move the way that somebody at the high school level should be moving.
Yeah.
And all the energy that you had, I definitely don't have it now.
Yeah, I know.
I wish I had that much energy. But
I know, same.
It was a lot of stagnant energy and just like wanting to participate. So
Totally.
I'm sure you had that same experience.
Yeah,
but
completely.
Yeah, I mean, I resonated with so many things that you said. And then I was listening to one of your podcasts about your disordered eating journey and how you healed that relationship with food. And you talk a lot about the almond mom theory, and obviously it's not just a theory, it's very real. And I think it's definitely something that our parents' generation grew up with. And you talk about how it's kind of this taught thing with our parents, and it's not that they mean to do it, but it does unfortunately cause disordered eating in a lot of people our age. And yeah, I really just admire you so much for speaking up about that, because I'm sure that was incredibly difficult.
But it's also difficult for my mom too, and I give her so much credit because imagine like she didn't know that she was doing anything wrong. And then for me to like not only kind of in the beginning like blame my eating disorder basically on her, then now I put it online and kind of put her under a microscope and say like, here's all the things that my mom was doing wrong. And so I think like it's really powerful the way that she was able to like unpack what was going on with her and the like kind of generational trauma that she went through. It's real. Like I give her so much credit, even though like obvious, like it's not her fault and it's not any of their faults. And for her to be able to take the behavior, learn about it, learn why it's wrong, and then try and correct it and still like work every day to correct it while still I talk about her online. I talk about it online. I'm so grateful for her like being able to do that. It takes like a strong person and a very self-aware person.
Yeah.
So,
it seems like you guys are really, really close.
yeah, she's my best friend. Aww. And I think that's why we were able to like work through that, and it never like affected our relationship. It was more just like having the open conversation about like why it was harmful and then like how we can make changes.
Absolutely.
But yeah, she's the best.
I'll overhear my mom and some of her friends saying that they need to diet or lose weight and they're just not going to eat all day.
Yeah.
And I think part of me, just because I have been so just... there's so much knowledge out there now.
Yeah.
And we have so much information about our health and about nutrition. And unfortunately, whenever they were growing up, they didn't have access to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's incredible that she's learning and you guys are having open conversations about it.
Yeah.
And you feel comfortable talking about it and just trying to lecture people in the right direction about how they can make positive changes.
Yeah. And women in menopause too, it's really tough for them because their bodies are changing. And I think it causes a lot of even like heightened disordered eating in like that age group. I've seen it among like a lot of my mom's friends and family members. Like it's something that they are all very like weird and secretive about, but they all struggle a lot with their body image and their bodies are changing. So I think it's been really great for her to also be open to learning about intuitive eating and learning about the harmfulness of going through those issues.
Right. Hormones are so wild.
Yeah.
They're so wild.
They're the bane of my, like literally everything. Everything is because of hormones. Like
it is. I was breaking out like crazy a few days ago and I was so down in the dumps and it's so crazy how just, you know, if we're having any skin issues or body issues, how it really directly correlates with our mental health.
Totally.
And yeah, a few days later, it just cleared up because, you know, it was around that time of the month and I thought it was just there to stay forever. Yeah. And yeah, it's crazy how it fluctuates, especially at this time of our lives. And we have to give ourselves grace.
Yeah. That week before my period, I'm always so unwell and I'm always like crying about something. I'm having like an existential crisis. And then I get my period and I'm like, oh, I feel better. Like my life isn't ending. Yeah. So it's so crazy like how they can mess with you. It's like insane.
Yeah. But, yeah. Well, I think it's just unfortunately something that we all have to deal with this time in our lives.
Totally.
But yeah, I think it definitely is helpful to learn more about cycle syncing.
Yeah.
And I've learned so much this past year, even the past 2 years, just about the cycle syncing space. Yeah. I feel like it was so just gate capped for so long.
Yeah, people weren't talking about it. Now I have my Aura ring. I try to like,
too.
yeah, I love it. I try to like track everything, which sometimes it's like probably like we pay so close attention, but it's good because I never paid attention before to my cycle. I would always just be like, why is like this happening to me? Or like, why do I feel a certain way? And then I realize, oh, I actually around this part of my cycle have like a few really productive days. It's like helpful to know when those things are going to happen or why they're happening. Yeah. So you don't like get down on yourself and feel like, why am I only productive like 2 days out of the month? Like it's just so weird how it so directly impacts like your day to day.
Definitely. I was really monitoring my stress levels on there. And I noticed that if I got on my phone first thing in the morning, my stress levels were just stagnant all day. And I stopped doing that. So I check my phone at least an hour after I wake up.
Wow.
Which is kind of difficult.
That's
sometimes.
Tough. Yeah. I'm like, how?
I don't do it all the time. I'm going to be honest. You know, we're human at the end of the day. But yeah, whenever I don't do that first thing, I just will have significantly low stress levels. And it's really cool to correlate our activities throughout the day with the data that you get on Aura Ring. So that's why I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But I was talking to this lady next to me at the nail salon yesterday and she was like, do you like your Aura ring? She has one too.
Everyone wants to know. Like everyone's like, is it worth it?
I know. And she didn't know that you could track your stress. And she said, how do I look at that? And she was in her 70s. So she didn't really know how to navigate it as well as we probably do. But she went to the stress and she said, oh my gosh, that makes sense. I just got in a fight with my sister 2 hours ago. I was cracking
Oh my
up.
God. I need to look at that more and be like, oh, I'll probably be like, that makes so much sense.
Oh my gosh. I know. It's super helpful. I really like it.
Yeah.
But yeah, to each their own. I know some people like the watches. I think there's so many wearables now.
I know there is. I know.
Yeah.
There's always something.
So what like jump started this interest in the health and wellness space for you? Was it just, you know, I know you've struggled with some mental health related diagnosis, and yeah, is that kind of part of what jump started you into this whole scene and fields, or was there something that was that aha moment for you?
I think it was like gradual, like ever since, like for as long as I can remember, my parents have been very into health and wellness. Obviously being a gymnast played a role. Like you just have to make sure you're eating enough and make sure you're like my movement was always just like part of the routine. So I think those were things that were really like built in. But growing up, like my parents both struggled with like general anxiety disorder. And so I was taught how to meditate. I remember I've had panic attacks since like before I can remember, like second grade, I think was really when it started. And I remember like waking up in the middle of the night and having a panic attack and going to my parents' room and my dad teaching me how to breathe and how to meditate. And then that's when I started meditating every night. So I'm so lucky that I have parents that are aware of like the natural things that you can do to help yourself. My dad's been medicated like since he was in his early 30s because of his anxiety. But like anyone that's medicated, I would hope that a lot of people know this. It's only 50% of, and this is what my psychiatrist has always told me, like medication is only 50%. Like you have to be putting in the work in the rest of your life if you want to really maintain a good mental health, especially like when you struggle, because it's up and down. So for as long as I can remember, meditation has always been part of the routine, like healthy eating, limiting caffeine. And obviously as like you get older, like these things change. Like I won't meditate for like a whole month and I'll be like, oh my God, I need to come back. Or I'll fall off and like, I'll be drinking coffee every single day. And then I'm like, okay, we need to like cut back a little bit. Like life happens, but I think I've had the foundation since the beginning. So it's like always something that I come back to. And then after like gymnastics obviously came to a close before college. And that's when I had to learn like, what is my movement of choice now? Because it was built in. So I was like, okay, what do I do with myself? Like, I don't know how to just like go to the gym and like lift a weight. Like I didn't know because that was just my routine. So it took years, but finding workouts that I really loved have really helped maintain my mental health. Like my workouts are everything to me. It's so important. It's okay to miss days. Like I'm not an everyday girly, but I think it's a culmination of all of those different things that have helped me be able to like maintain good mental health.
Have you ever struggled with over-exercising? Because I definitely have. And I feel like throughout the last few years, I've noticed that when I do take those rest days, I've realized how incredibly important those are because you need to like rebuild your cells and they're repairing themselves. And I feel like I've seen better results, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, just from making sure I'm doing workouts that make me feel good. And I don't leave feeling drained and exhausted because I think most of the time, whenever people get into the fitness space, they expect it to be really brutal and terrible and they leave feeling like they just got hit by a truck.
Yeah, totally.
And I've just found so much peace with not really catering to having to work out every single day. Yeah.
It's crazy the kind of like workout trends that have been happening recently, I feel like are actually amazing compared to many years ago. Everything was all about high intensity interval training and longer workouts. And now I feel like we have people like Melissa Wood Health who are like, just do something for 5 minutes a day, even if it's just like a little bit, or even like doing like Pilates, like New York Pilates I go to all the time. Like that's such a big thing. Like,
I've never been.
Oh my God, it's the best. I went this morning.
Go.
But yes, we do. I will bring you to New York Pilates. You will love it. Yeah, I love doing Pilates because you're not killing yourself. You're not like waking up dying the next day. You feel good. You feel energized. You feel like you're working your muscles. So I love this trend recently of just like, I don't know, there's more moderation, I feel like, in workouts, and you're gentler on your body. Like I used to be obsessed with HIIT in high school when I used to like struggle with binge eating and overeating. I would do these, like, I think they were like 1,000 calorie workouts like trigger warning, but I would do like these 1,000-calorie workouts. I don't even know why these existed. And I would just work out until I burned like 1,000 calories doing like HIIT.
Wow.
So I definitely struggled with like the over-exercising things when I would overeat. But I'm so grateful that now like there are just more gentle versions of exercise and people have a healthier relationship with movement. I feel like online, like obviously there's always the people that are gonna be like a little crazy, but even just like there's a big like uptick, I feel like, in people walking, hot girl walking. Like,
oh, for sure.
This is so amazing. Like this makes me so excited because we don't need to be running a marathon. And if you do, power to you, but like you don't need to run a marathon to be your best self. Like you can go for a 20-minute walk and that is better than doing nothing. Like,
exactly.
So I just love the idea of like gentle movement and mindful movement.
Yeah.
Instead of really hurting yourself and making your body so sore and to the point where you can't recover.
Yeah, I love this approach to gentleness that you have and the approach with meditation and fitness. I would love to know what meditations you're doing or meditations you love, maybe just your meditation journey, what you kind of started doing, maybe what you're doing now. And besides New York Pilates, what other movement exercises, things you're liking?
Yeah. Okay, so meditation. For my OG meditation people, I used to have like my iPod and I had a whole playlist. Like my
you
dad
really are OG.
Yes. My dad bought, or like my parents would both listen to this guy named Joel Levy. OG people will know this.
Yeah.
But I would listen to his playlist. Like he had like all, like maybe it was a playlist that was like 20 different meditations. And I just would cycle through whichever one was my favorite. My favorite was Tense and Relax. I literally like, this is core for me. And it was all about maybe like 30 minutes or something, all about like tensing your muscles. Anyone that's like experienced meditation, there's usually a part that's like you tense your body and then relax it. And it really helps ease tension. But that was like my favorite meditation. I would do it like all the time. And then as I got older, apps came out.
Right.
So now my meditation of choice is the app Simple Habit.
Oh, I haven't heard of it.
I think it's like Australian owned. All the people
Australian owned is incredible.
It's everything Australian is better.
All
Australian
the breakfast
wellness
places here, Australian wellness, they really know what they're doing.
In the like wellness industry, like Australia does it best. Like I don't know why, they just do. So yeah, this app called Simple Habit I love. And then Calm I use also, which is like the more I feel like mainstream meditation app. But I'm all about the apps, like do whatever is easy for you. And then occasionally, like if I'm trying to manifest something, I'll literally go on YouTube and like type in like meditation for manifesting success at work and like just see whatever comes up and like fall asleep to it.
I'm obsessed with that.
So I'm like a little crazy. I like don't know why I like never talk about this stuff, but yeah, I'm a little crazy with it.
No,
but
I love everything manifestation.
Yeah.
I talk about it way too. I feel like that's my number one keyword on this podcast.
Oh my God, totally.
And if you typed in martinis and bikinis manifestation, I'm sure so many episodes would come up just like from the keywords on Spotify.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how much I talk about it, but I just find it so incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
I'm a little witchy, to be honest. I'm in my witchy era.
I love it though. Like I've always been into manifesting.
Yeah.
And again, comes from my core like memories of my like mom being like, we manifest, like we speak things into existence. Have you ever read the book The Secret?
No, but everybody keeps telling me I need to read it.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's an OG. Again, I read the book The Secret probably when I was in like elementary school.
I've seen the movie, I think.
Doesn't do it justice.
Okay.
The movie kind of like is weird. Like it's like weird how like they talk. They're like, it's like sounds like in a world. Like, you know, those like previews that are like, it's just like weird.
It's too dramatic.
It's like very drama when in reality it doesn't make you feel like you can like, I don't know. You got to read the book.
Yeah. My uncle has it on DVD.
Oh my God.
I remember watching it and it was at a time where I was very not invested into that space, I guess. So I could see that.
Yeah. It's so good though. Like my mom, because of like her anxiety and her own like mental health stuff, she like showed me like the book The Secret. She read it, and also from like therapists and stuff, like she's just taught me so much about it. And that's like what helped me. I feel like everything I've like done is because I've like manifested.
Oh, for sure. And you're so incredibly successful. And
thank you. I don't feel that way, but thank you.
I feel like we never feel that way.
Yeah.
I think it's so important to look back on your younger self and just imagine what they would be thinking.
Yeah, totally.
And I know that's like so common and probably a broken record thing to say, but no, you've achieved so many incredible things.
Thank
you're
you.
killing it in the content space, and your podcast is incredible. And yeah, I'm just bragging about you now, but
no, I appreciate it.
I noticed that you had an episode recently on just creator things that people don't know. And I thought that was so interesting because I feel like, again, another gatekept space. People don't really talk about what's going on behind the scenes, what it's like to work with brands, etc. And I would love for you to just give like your best golden nugget piece of advice to somebody that's trying to just fulfill their dream of becoming a content creator, or maybe they're trying to maximize their results, build a community.
I think like people are always going to say this, like the market is so saturated. Like it's true. But it just gives you more reason to like be original and be yourself. And like, people are always going to look at someone else. People might look at Alex Earl and say, okay, I have to do Get Ready With Me, is because that's what's popping on TikTok right now. And you can take pieces of what's trending and like put it into your content and like add it in slowly. But I think everyone like has to show what they offer as an individual in order to have success, especially on TikTok. I literally made a video today talking about how just like it's so important to diversify. So if you feel like you don't have success on TikTok or the algorithm is like hating you, post on Reels, post on YouTube Shorts, like use what is given to you, and always look out for new apps that are coming out and new things and try them. Because if you think about it, like anyone that was successful on TikTok from the beginning, it's because they took a chance on an app that everyone was making fun of and being like, what is this? Like, so I just think it's important that when you see something that you feel like might have potential to be big, to just be the first one to hop on it. Because that could be the next big thing.
Yeah, I also think apps that the younger generations are utilizing.
Yeah,
because I feel like at first TikTok, what was it before?
Musical.ly.
Right, and it was like a lot of younger people. And everybody was like, I'm not getting on that. There's no way.
Yeah, like people think it's a joke. And then it's like, no, there's like major money in TikTok now.
Yeah.
So yeah, always like hop on it. And then if it doesn't work and if it looks like it's not going to be the next big thing, great, throw it away. It was never a waste of time because you're always learning something and getting something out of everything that you do. Like, I think it's just redirection.
Right.
And then I'm trying to think of like another thing. I feel like consistency is like the biggest thing, because when I was posting in the beginning, I would take hours to create content and then be like, it's not good enough, I'm not posting it. Like when I did like Instagram back in the day and like my blog, like now with TikTok and how fast things are consumed and how short everyone's attention spans are, it's so important to just create and put it out there and just keep putting it out there instead of overthinking constantly and being like, it has to be perfect. Like, no, just like have a thought and put it out there. You never know what is gonna be like the big thing that people get obsessed with.
Do you feel like your content creator journey, influencer journey, has been more of like a slow burn to success, or was it kind of just like this overnight experience? Because I know that that's what a lot of people, they have that happen to them.
Yeah.
And especially this day and age, everybody that gets on TikTok, maybe they post one video and it just starts soaring.
Yeah.
And they develop a really amazing community. What was that like for you?
It was slow and steady. I mean, like I started doing content, let's say, in like 2013, 2014. And this is like 10 years later now. And I feel like it's just been like a steady climb. And there's no shade to anyone that has popped off overnight because they can't help that. And it's a blessing. It's an amazing thing. But I think even though it's frustrating to not have that kind of like overnight success, it's taught me about longevity and like how important it is to play the long game, because there's a lot of influencers right now, but the ones that keep their feet on the ground and keep pumping out the content and keep working hard and making those connections are the ones that are going to be successful in the end. Start their own companies, collaborate on things, have a talk show one day, write a book. Like, I just think for me, I value the let's like slow and steady wins the race.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that pop off overnight, and I don't wish this on them. It's just a lot of them will end up kind of disappearing and going in a different direction because that's just the name of the game. That's what happens.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think it's incredibly admirable that you have been just working so hard the last 10 years. And I think that just goes to show that whenever you are consistent and you do something with a steady approach and you really are motivated to continue on with the journey, really good things happen. You have such a solid community.
Yeah.
So it's so cool to see that. And, obviously no bad feelings towards the people that pop up.
I'm like,
but I think it's really cool. Yeah, I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool to see somebody that's working really hard at it for a while and then they have success.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm not secure with it all the time. Like I plenty of time feel like, oh, like I'm not good enough, or like I'm not doing enough, or I'm not successful enough, I don't make enough money, whatever it may be. Like I feel all of those feelings, but the thing that keeps me going is that thought of like, I will have longevity. Like I just need to keep pumping out. I need to keep working hard and just like maintain that.
Comparison is so hard in this space.
Totally.
Especially whenever you are trying to build your community and push out content and just deliver some sort of positive impact and you want it to reach the masses, it can be really, really difficult to see other people just having really great results. And you are so happy for them, obviously. But yeah, it's easy to compare.
Totally.
And there's so many little phrases that I could throw out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just to be real. Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard. Yeah. And I think it's important to celebrate those little wins too. And
totally.
I think that's something that we don't do a lot.
Yeah, we don't. Because, we're always like anyone that especially is a perfectionist in this space, like we're always looking at like, what's the next thing? Now, what's the next thing? Like I did this. Okay. Like I hit 500K. Well, now I need to hit 1 million. Like that's just the immediate thought that like anyone that has like that perfectionist tendency is going to have. But it's a good thing to drive you as long as it doesn't get to the point where it's like paralyzing you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I think if anything, it's just helping you push through in this next chapter.
Yeah.
And it's like when you're at like a level 50, you're like always looking towards level 100.
Yeah.
And then level 150.
Yeah.
It just never ends.
Yeah.
So.
And I did hear someone say recently, like, when you're really, really struggling, that's like the time before a breakthrough. And that's always like what's kept me going too.
I like that.
Like, I feel like the times where you're even like when you're just going through a bad time, like mentally or whatever, like everyone's like, it always gets worse before it gets better. Like it's going to get so bad and then it's going to get even worse. And then you're going to like turn a page and it's going to get better. And like, that's how I feel about like my kind of like content creation journey and like career journey. Like whenever I feel like I'm at a plateau, I always feel like I dip a little bit. I feel really down bad. It's the only way I can describe it. I'm like, I'm down bad right now. But then something else happens where I turn a corner and I'm like, oh my God, this amazing opportunity just came for me. So that's enough to like keep my head up and to like keep me going.
For sure. There's always a new opportunity around the corner.
Yeah.
And speaking of new opportunities, I know that you were originally on a podcast with two of your friends and then you kind of branched out and did your own thing. How's that experience been? And let me first of all say that I love how real and raw you are on social media.
Thank
I love that you carry that into the podcast as well. Was your thought process moving into that just wanting to talk about different subjects? What was that experience like?
I think like from the beginning, I always knew that the podcast that I was with my two other friends, like it was going to be entertainment and it was going to be fun, but it was never going to be the journey of like, I'm talking about things that are like super important. I mean, we did that sometimes, but it wasn't like the main focus.
Right. And naturally that probably happens in the conversation. But.
Yeah. And like, I felt like I had certain perspectives. It was really great. I felt like it was kind of like a mini like The View in the way that like I always had a different perspective than my co-hosts, and I loved to have that like back and forth and like offer those different perspectives. But I felt like I wanted to talk about those different perspectives even more and like open them up even more. And it just got to a point in my career mainly where I felt like where can I go from here kind of. We were all, I felt like, at a standstill in that podcast. Like we all were like, all right, what now? Like, I don't know. It just felt like we were kind of plateauing, and it just like naturally felt like that was the right thing for me to do at the time. Like there was really I mean, obviously there's always like a last straw, like a something that is like, okay, now is the time. But yeah, I just felt like that was the end of my journey, really. Like, I just think I listened to my gut. Like, that's always like how I lead with emotion and with my gut. And my gut was just telling me that I did all I could do in like that part of my like journey in my career. And it was time for me to like speak about the things that I was really passionate about.
Yeah.
And at the time I was getting a lot of like public speaking opportunities.
Oh, incredible.
I like auditioned to do like a TED Talk.
What?
And
That's incredible.
I didn't get it, guys. Like, I didn't get it. So
it's going to happen one day.
But yes, one day. But it was an honor to even get to audition to do it. Like, it was so cool and nerve-wracking, but also so cool. And I've gotten to speak at a lot of colleges, and like, that's really like what I'm passionate about. So I felt like if I love Gary Vee. I don't know if you follow him. And he always says, like, when you're passionate about something, like, don't have one foot in the door and one foot somewhere else. Like, do it 100%. And so I felt like if I was going to do more motivational speaking and talk more about mental health and self-improvement and stuff, that I just needed to like go full force. Yeah. So that other part was like a part of my brand. Like, the other podcast was a part of my brand I wanted to kind of leave behind.
Yeah. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to prioritize yourself.
Yeah.
And there's this fear of letting people down or moving on to a next chapter and fully committing to you.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. That's amazing.
And it's like, it's great. Like, I still get to have that part of my life when I want it. I still get to like go hang out with them and create content with them. And like, it's great though, because I feel like there's no ulterior, like, we don't have to be creating content together. Right. We don't have to hang out with each other. It's just, now it's like, we can when we want to. Yeah. So, and it's hard to work with friends. It really is. It's a choice.
So challenging.
Yeah. So that's taught me something too. I was like, I like create content with a lot of my like influencer friends, but to take it a step further and like ever create a podcast with someone again, or like be in a business with someone again, I learned that like you really have to be careful, because it's a lot of pressure and it does like weigh on a friendship.
For sure. For sure. And podcasting, I don't want to say it's hard, but it is so incredibly time consuming. Yeah. And especially if you edit yourself and you're scheduling guests and scheduling recordings and there's just a lot of moving parts. So there's multiple people involved. It can be really challenging to get it done and be consistent. Totally. So I don't know if you guys ran into that issue at all.
Yeah. I mean, like, one of our co-hosts was literally doing like the brunt of like the editing, and like she was kind of like the CEO, like, let's say, like, she was really like telling us what to do and like what to post, and she really took charge of that, and like we were so grateful for that. But like, it's hard when like you have to like work together, but it also is this feeling of like one person's in charge, or there's like resentment because one person is doing more than the other people. And it was just, it's a journey. Like, it's just a journey, and like you work through those issues as you go. There's no roadmap. No one tells you like you're going to run into that stuff. But
and it's great that, you know, you can kind of take control and do your own thing and create your own narrative too. And similarly, I am in business with two friends, and we actually went through major changes last year. It's a clothing business, and they're incredible. And I'm so grateful that I have such a good relationship with them. But it kind of came to a point where I was picking up a lot of the heavy lifting, and I spoke up for myself finally and was like, hey guys, love y'all, but I think I need more equity in this business. So and I have a swimwear line, hence Martinis and Bikinis. But I'm so glad that I was able to actually step into that, because it can be really hard.
Yeah, that's so important though, to like vouch for yourself and speak up for yourself, because that's what builds resentment, when you don't speak up and say something.
Definitely.
Like, it's just so important to always like advocate for yourself if you're feeling that way. And like, as soon as you feel that way, because usually as girls too, like, we let things build and then it like boils up, like it boils over. But it's really good that you were able to like speak up for yourself.
But I don't know if you feel this way. I always feel a million times better afterwards. And then their response usually isn't that bad. I mean, obviously there's been times where if you are having to speak up and, you know, stand up for yourself, it can be incredibly challenging.
Oh my God, totally.
But usually you always feel better on the other side.
Completely. It's always better to just say it and get it out there, because then once that happens, it always gets better from there. Like, it's never, it always is going to improve the situation.
Right. When it comes to creating content where you are having to be super raw and organic and kind of talk about some like deep, maybe dark things, do you have a hard time really putting it out there, or do you feel like it's just natural now where you just don't even look at it, you just let it sit there and wait to see what the response is?
I think it depends.
Right.
I do get like, when I was dating before, that's when I would get anxiety about.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh my God, like I'm going to be dating these guys and they're going to know about my anxiety issues before I even get to tell them.
Right.
Or they're going to think I'm weird as like, literally I'm just saying my internal thoughts. I don't actually think this about people, but they're going to think I'm weird because like I was a binge eater. Like they're going to think like something's wrong with me, or like I have to be self-conscious now when I go to dinner with them and I'm eating, and they're going to be like, so, like, I don't know. They're gonna be like, do you have an eating disorder? Like all of those thoughts were definitely present. So it was never about women, because I feel like as women, it's only helpful to share the information. And it's like something that I always needed growing up.
Yeah, it's for the girls.
It's for the girls. But that's what my anxiety came from, was literally like making content and then like guys seeing it. Yeah. Like guys that I was dating, guys I hooked up with, like that's what gave me.
Dating as a creator is so scary.
Yeah.
And I'm very micro, but even the fact that putting stuff out there that anyone can digest is so terrifying. But I know you just entered into a relationship. When did that start?
So it started, let's say like in June, I think. Yeah. So it was like very fast. Like it was not like a slow, like it was like I met him and then like we were like dating basically.
I love that.
It's just like, that's just how it happened. Like I feel like you can't really control how it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been together. We were official like not like I think a month and a half ago.
Oh my gosh.
Or something like that. But
I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. It's been like,
how long had you been single?
7 years.
Oh my gosh. Wait, this is so exciting.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like I don't even know what to do with myself, but it feels natural and normal, which is weird. But I like him too. Like he was so used to doing everything. He's been single for like, I think 5 or 6 years. We both were so used to doing everything alone. He's a business owner. Like his whole life is his work. I'm the same way. So it's been just like an interesting
dynamic.
Yeah, an interesting dynamic for like both of us.
Yeah.
Both of us to be like so into our work, but then like so into each other, and like we're together 24/7. But in like it's been a good thing, aside from both of us probably not getting as much work done. Yeah. Because we're in bubble still.
Yeah, I feel like when you enter into a new relationship, it's so hard to cater to all the different boxes and hats of life that you have to wear. So I think that's just such a weird transition for anyone. Yeah, but that's so exciting.
I know, it's so exciting, and it's so weird and scary too. Which is like nobody talks about how like the beginning of a relationship, even though like knock on wood, like everything is so great and healthy and amazing, it's still scary because I have like constant anxiety about like, am I not with my friends enough? Am I not working enough? Am I like being all the things for everyone else? Because now I have like this someone that just became the biggest part of my life that didn't exist before.
It's hard to balance that feminine and masculine energy when you're in a relationship. And I feel like navigating that within like the early days, early months, even first year or two, it can be challenging. Yeah. It's an adjustment period.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to balance. We're figuring it out, but it's been good and it's happy.
How did you guys meet?
On Hinge.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I was dating a guy before that I had like rekindled with from college. Okay. And it was just a really toxic situation. Like he did not treat me well. Like it was really bad, but I just think it was like a Hail Mary for me. Like I was like, I've been obsessed with this guy for so long. Like I just have to like see it through. Right. And I saw it through, and it ended badly, obviously, because when all of your friends warn you and say, don't do something, like I know you're going to do it anyways, but like don't do it, but like you're going to do it anyways. So that's what happened. I did it anyways. And then I was just like, I'm down so bad. I need to get on Hinge and just like find someone that's obsessed with me, even if I like don't really like them. And the first date I went on was with him. And I was like, he had like chatted me like multiple times. I was like, oh, he's obsessed with me. Like, I'll just go out with him. And I was like, oh, he's going to be like weird. Like, you know, like you just have an idea. You're like, this is a rebound. And then I was just like, oh, like I just like want to be with this person all the time. So it happened in a very weird, unexpected way, but
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when it always happens.
I know. And I'm so ashamed that we met on Hinge.
No.
I'm so ashamed. Like everyone's like, how'd you meet? We're both like, Hinge.
I feel like everybody meets on dating apps
No, it's
now.
everyone meets on Hinge nowadays.
Yeah.
That's the funny part. It's like so normal, but I feel like no one wants to admit it. Like everyone's like, oh, like we met on Hinge. Like,
oh my gosh. I have this friend and she met her husband on Bumble years ago. And she used to tell people that they met at Trader Joe's.
no, like that's so good. Like I would too. We both are like trying to figure out, we're like, and I'm the worst liar too. Like I would say that to someone and start laughing and be like, that's not the truth.
Yeah.
But yeah, we both are like trying to figure out what to say to people. We'll like make things up and then like laugh and be like, just kidding, we met on Hinge.
Well, where was y'all's first date?
At the Flatiron Room.
Y'all met there.
yeah, that's what he says. That's what he tells people. He goes, we met at the Flatiron Room.
Oh my gosh.
Great. We met at a jazz bar. Like that sounds a lot.
We were both at the jazz bar.
Yeah, just like
eyes.
minding my own business, just listening to jazz.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's what we can say.
Well, I feel like it's so great that you had that time to yourself in your 20s to be single and really hone in on that. I don't think a lot of people give themselves that opportunity. I'm from Louisiana, so
everyone's locking down fast.
Everybody locks down fast. Yeah. And I was almost at this point in my life where I did that and the relationship ended. And I'm so grateful that I had that time in my 20s to just do whatever I wanted to do.
Yeah. It's so important.
And I wasn't able to really achieve the things that I wanted out of life if I would have stayed. And I think that more people need to give themselves the opportunity to just choose themselves.
Yeah.
What is your advice for like single girlies? Maybe they're roaming New York City, maybe they're not. But I feel like everybody this day and age is so incredibly focused on getting into a relationship and just what the next move is in their love life. And I think it can be really great to celebrate your singleness too.
Oh my God. I still like, even though I'm in a relationship now and I'm so happy and I feel like secure and like I had my time, I still like, I was out with my boyfriend like last weekend and we like went to dinner and then like went to a bar and I was looking at this group of girls that were all going out and like, they don't know who they're going home with tonight. Like they don't know where they're going to end up. And I was like, oh, like the glory days. Like I can still do that. Like I don't know why I'm being
through you.
Like I'm being so drama about it. But like honestly, like I cherished the time that I had with my girlies when I was fully single, didn't have anyone to even be texting or like I was just texting like a little side piece guy, like whatever. I just think like enjoy it. Like it's truly like the only time you're going to have in your life to do that. You never know, your life can change in an instant. Like you could meet the love of your life like literally tomorrow and then that's it. So it's just like enjoy every second that you have where you're single and you're being just like, you have no one to answer to. You're just being spontaneous and like you don't know where you're going to end up later in the night. It's just like you have the rest of your life to be in a relationship and it's beautiful and amazing, but don't rush it. Like, because it'll be there when you're ready for it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I saw your TikTok about the girl at the concert.
Oh my God.
Taking photos of you guys. Oh my God.
That was so nice.
Cutest
it was the girl behind us. And she was like looking at us and I was like, oh, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I was thinking about. I was like, oh, I feel like she's like looking at us. And at the end, she like pulled us aside and was like, I took these pictures of you. And I thought they were going to be the ugliest thing. I was like, oh my God,
they were so cute.
Yeah. Cause they were like silhouette. I was like, thank you. This is perfect for my soft launches. Like,
what's your opinion on that? Soft, hard launches?
I don't think it matters. Like everyone like do whatever you want. For me, honestly, I always thought like I would just launch the second I got a boyfriend. Like that's what I always said. But then you don't realize that like people are on the internet that like find him and then are like he gets like 50 follower requests a day. Whoa. And like I've never posted his name. And I'm not Kim K, guys. Like I don't know why we all care. But everyone's just very like they're happy and they want to know who he is and they want to know all the tea. So I'm just protecting
it's an interesting form of flattery for sure.
Yeah. And I've had girls that like have texted him since being in a relationship that want to like pursue him.
What?
Now that he's with me. And I'm like, thanks.
They are not for the girlies.
No, it's crazy how they're out there. Like, it's crazy. I'm like, you guys better watch it because I know who all of you are. But it's not a threat. I'm just saying. It's just crazy what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm just in the phase right now of protecting the peace of our relationship. Like, we're so good, so happy. And I don't want to like put his face out there and then have everyone be like everyone already, like people have already found him. It's like not like
that's kind of
people are stalkers. So like they post his face on Reddit and things, like people are weird, but once you like actually put a face and a name out there, then it's that much easier. So I'm just trying to like, he's like, I can handle it. I have like boy cousins and my dad that bullied me my whole life. I'm like, but you don't get it. Like, it's just, you know, he's a guy. Like,
I just spit everywhere, by the way. Like, just laughed so hard.
Like people think they can handle it until it's happening to you, and it's like these random people, and like, I don't know, I guess I just like want to protect him and protect us.
What has that been like for you? Just have you received like a lot of hate negatively online, and how have you dealt with that, if so?
Mostly it's like been positive. I feel like
great.
Yeah, it's mostly been positive. Like, I don't go on Reddit. People love to talk. Yeah. Like, they literally like found everything about him. I was like, you guys are so creepy. But look, like really stalking. I'm so flattered. Like, thank you for caring.
Thank you for taking like 5 minutes out of your day.
Yeah, like thank you
to talk about me.
Yeah, it's great. I'm like, I have to be honored, honestly. But
again, interesting form.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. It's just been interesting. Like, I feel like he's so good and like grounds me.
That's great.
When I like have freaked out since day one, being like, I'm scared you're gonna get hate and like you're not gonna like me anymore.
Is he all about it?
Yeah, he just doesn't care. Like, he doesn't have TikTok, so he doesn't know what goes on there. Every day I try to send him TikToks. He's like, you know, I don't have this app. Like, I can't view them.
But like screen record.
Yeah, literally.
It's like so hard for me, babe.
I know. Screen recording. He like sees the TikTok that's on Reels like 2 weeks later. I'm like, you're such a little millennial.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, it's been good. Like, I feel like there's been more love than hate.
That's great.
So it's been good. I feel like people are like happy because I complained about being single for like 20 years. So.
Oh my gosh.
Well, they're like, finally.
It seems like it was worth it.
Yeah.
It sounds like he's amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's super supportive.
Yes, completely supportive. Like, his family's supportive, everyone. And it's just a reminder to not settle. Like, it's wait until you actually find like your person.
Right. Yeah. What are like some green flags that you look out for?
Honestly, he just pursued me like from day one. Like, he just actively pursued me. He never gave me any doubts. And every single one of my friends that's in a healthy relationship that I talk to says the same thing. Like, if you have any doubt in your mind that this person is not for you, then like that's a bad sign. Right. So it's just like, go for, and he even like would verbally say like, I will always actively pursue you. Like, he said that to me on multiple dates, and that at the end of every single date he asked me out on another date, like at the end, so that I can never get a chance to like not respond to his text, or like he was very just forward about what he wanted. So I think those were all things that made me feel very like secure.
Yeah, I think with men, actions are so important.
Yeah. Totally.
And I think if they're not proving to you through their actions that they like you, then it's not even worth wasting your time over.
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah. And just like, I always had a vision of like the person I wanted to be with. And so I think it's like really important to like have a clear set of like values that are non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And he just like hit all of those things.
Yeah.
So it made it like easy when I was like, oh, he checks this box, he checks this box, because you shouldn't have to compromise on things that are like your core, most important to you things.
I have a husband list on my phone.
Oh, I made one a few months ago, and like, everyone was like, do it. And I was like, this is so weird. And then I was just like, I'm just going to make a list of values that are like, I need in a person. And
it's so funny because I made mine a few years ago whenever I went through like this really toxic situation that ended terribly. And I was like basically writing down everything that went wrong in that like relationship, situationship, whatever it was. And so I like obviously added over time, but it's so funny to look at my earlier entries.
Oh my God.
You can just tell how pissed off.
You're like, this girl's suffering right now.
She's sad.
Would not want to be her.
She got treated bad.
Yeah. No, we've all been there though.
Yeah.
We've all been there. Yeah. Trust me.
But it's a form of manifestation, you know? So it worked out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But no, I love this for you. I love this new chapter.
Yeah, me too. It's good. It's a good, like, it's a huge life change, but it's a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I want to talk a little bit more about friendships and making friends in the city. What was that transition like for you whenever you moved here? Did you kind of come into it easily? Was it kind of challenging? I feel like that's something that I get questions about a lot. I thought you would be a really fun person to talk about this with because it seems like you have a really good like support system.
Yeah, I do. And I'm so grateful. My two best friends from high school that I grew up with, we've been best friends since we were literally 5 years old. They both live in the city. So those are like my core people that like really look out for me. That's been my like true support system. And because I'm from the East Coast, like because I'm from Jersey, like there are just so many people here that I like, it's a friend of a friend. Or so it's like, it's a familiar feeling moving here.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I feel like I've always had different people from different walks of life, and then they all kind of came together and all moved to the city. But for someone that's like moving here and like they don't have anyone, I just think it's important to just have one person.
Right.
Because that one person is the gateway to meeting maybe your new best friend or a new friend group. So I met one of my other best friends, Rachel. I've like told the story on social media, but I met her because I was dating my best friend, Amanda, that I grew up with. She was dating her boyfriend at the time, and I started seeing the roommate of her boyfriend. Wow. So I went on a date with him. He didn't tell me that this was literally a work dinner. He took me to a client dinner.
Stop.
And it was
first date.
It was our first official date. We had been hooking up. This was our first official date.
I hate everything about that.
No, it's crazy. It was a canon event, honestly. It was actually a canon event.
I feel like that's even scary, like fourth, fifth date.
No, literally. He was like, yeah, like, he like texted me on a random Tuesday. I literally remember it was a Tuesday. And he's like, hey, Carly, like wondering if you just want to come to this like client event with me. He called it like an event. And I was like, oh, like, okay, like free drinks. Like I'll go, like, I'll just go mingle and like, we'll maybe go get dinner or something after. So I go with him and I get to his door. We're about to walk to the restaurant. And he goes, oh, by the way, we're just going with like, I'm the client and they're taking me to dinner. And he asked if he could bring a +1 to his like meeting. It was basically like a dinner meeting. So we were walking there and he goes, maybe I'm like, this is so embarrassing. Like they probably think I'm your wife or something. Like that's the only acceptable way that you should be bringing a +1 to like this weird work event. So we pretend that we're dating. Like we pretend we're in a relationship. Like it was like a cosplay.
Was that his strategy?
Like it was crazy. So we sit down at the dinner and I'm like, it's one girl, one guy. And I'm like, oh my God, this girl is gorgeous. And like, I just immediately was like, oh my God, like she's gorgeous. Like we just hit it off. She was like, I was a gymnast growing up and I went to Miami and like we had so much in common. She's my best friend. That's my best friend, Rachel.
Stop.
I stopped dating the guy and me and the girl were like, we were like, you always meet people and you're like, we should get drinks, but like we actually got drinks and then she became my best friend.
Oh my God.
So it's crazy how you can like just meet people living in a city.
That's a really cute meet cute.
Yeah, it is like a best friend meet cute. Like you just never know how you're going to meet people. Right. So moral of the story though, just like take every opportunity to like do things when you move to a new city. Like you never know, like go to your friend's like weird like work event and like go mingle with her coworkers and like you might meet your future boyfriend, you might meet another friend. Like, I just think it's like in the beginning when I first moved here, I just took every opportunity to say yes to everything. And that's how I met like all of my people.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of people that have somewhat of an anxiety going into group settings and don't really want to put themselves out there. I notice this a lot at events. Maybe it's somebody that doesn't know anybody there and is kind of just like standing on the sidelines on their own. I think a really good tip is find someone in the room that you think has a really cute outfit or you really love their hair, like something obviously that you genuinely think. Go up to them, tell them. I think that's like a great icebreaker, great conversation starter.
Yeah. And a lot of the time, like people, I feel like will go up to someone that like they think is cool. Like don't go up to the person that you think is cool. Go up to the person that you think is nice and approachable. Yeah. Because if you go up to the person that you're like, oh my God, they're so cool, then like you might be disappointed. Right. That's the times where like girls go on TikTok and they're like, I met this girl and she was so bitchy and blah, blah. I'm like, she literally had a resting bitch face. Why'd you go up to her? Like go up to someone that has their eyes up. They're like, also they look friendly, they're smiling. Like I know a lot of people have the RBF, like I am fully like I have it too sometimes, like we all have resting bitch face, but it's like better to go up to someone that you know is like in a conversation or looks like they're also trying to make friends or mingling, or I don't know. I just think like you can tell a lot by someone's vibe.
Yeah.
So
yeah, energy.
Yeah, like someone's energy.
Yeah.
Totally. It's always easier.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think that's something that people tend to do is they go up to the most intimidating person in the room.
I'm like, don't go up to them. I wouldn't.
Yeah, you're just going to end up disappointed, honey.
Yeah. Like go up to the person that looks like a kind person.
Yes.
Like, you do not, and that's something I learned in college and out of college. Like I think as girls, we always want to be like in the cool crowd, like whatever, but like it doesn't matter. Like when you get into your 20s, I feel like it just becomes more and more as you get older. Be friends with the kind people, because the cool people that you, or the people that you think are cool, will probably F you over in the end.
And you probably like don't really want to sit down and have a conversation.
Yeah, they probably don't have anything interesting to say anyways. Like go with the people that have similar values to you.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, this was lovely. I have one last question for you.
Yes.
I could talk to you for like 3 more hours.
I know. I'll come on anytime.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Come back. We'll do it. We'll have like a whole another episode about
for sure.
who knows what. But I'll think of some things. I'm sure some things will happen in the meantime.
Some things will definitely happen.
But if you were to drink a martini, it can be anything, in a bikini, where would you be and what would you be drinking?
Ooh. Okay. I'd be in Turks and Caicos because that's my favorite place to vacation. Wait, what is it? Where would I be drinking? And what would I be drinking?
You can be like as detailed as you want.
Like an extra dirty martini.
Oh, love.
Probably. Because just, can't go wrong.
No, you cannot go wrong.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So that would be my ideal situation.
I've never been there. I've always wanted to go.
You have to go. It's literally my favorite place.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I love it. Oh, also last thing, I need your whole skin routine. So if you have like a Shop My link or like link,
I do.
We need to throw that in there.
I will give it to you. Also, House Labs foundation. That's what I've been using.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, I heard good things too. And I finally bit the bullet. I was like, I need to just try it. Really good.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, I can't wait to look through it. Look through it all.
Stalk my Shop My.
I can't wait. You're like, please.
Use my codes.
Code Carly.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Carly. I would love for you to share how people can be friends, how they can connect, how they can see all the amazing things that you're doing. If you have any exciting things happening, let us know.
So you can follow me at Carly_Weinstein on Instagram, Carly Weinstein 1 on TikTok, and then my podcast is called Real with Carly Weinstein.
Amazing. Well, cheers.
Cheers. I'm going to chug my Olipop.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Chug, girl. Chug. No, this was so lovely. Thank you so much for coming on. You were such a delight.
Aww.
And yeah, we're going to have to do this again.
Yes, for sure.
All right, great. If you guys like this episode, please feel free to like, rate, and subscribe to Martinis and Bikinis on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you liked this episode, please send us a DM. We would love to hear what you think. And yeah, I think that's about it. But I'll see you guys next week. And yeah, love y'all. Cheers.